There are moments in life when we feel like we're stuck, when progress seems slow and our prayers appear unanswered. We've done all we can, but the breakthrough hasn't come yet. Let me remind you today that just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is working behind the scenes, setting the stage, aligning the right people, and arranging the perfect timing. He is not limited by what you see. He operates in the unseen, and I believe He's about to surprise you in ways you never imagined. You may think it's been too long, or I've missed my chance, but God's timing is never late. He knows how to get you to where you need to be. What looks like a delay is actually preparation. He's preparing the blessing, and He's preparing you. You don't want something before it's ready, and you don't want to arrive before you're ready. Trust that the waiting is not wasted. It's building your faith, strengthening your character, and setting you up for something far greater than you could dream. Sometimes God's surprises come in ways we don't expect. You might be looking for an answer in one area, but God has something better planned in another. He's not bound by your ideas of how things should happen. He loves to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ask or think. What He has in store for you is beyond anything you've prayed for, beyond anything you've hoped for. You may not see how it can happen, but that's what makes it a surprise. I don't know, she tells me. God specializes in doing the impossible. The key is to stay faithful while you're waiting. Keep doing the right thing, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Keep being your best, even when no one seems to notice. God sees your faithfulness. He hears your prayers. And when the time is right, He will open the doors, bring the opportunity, and turn things in your favor. He's already planned your breakthrough, and when it happens, it will be better than you expected. Maybe you've been praying for years for a dream to come to pass, for a healing, or for a relationship to be restored. Let me encourage you. God hasn't forgotten you. What He's promised will come to pass. Don't get discouraged because it hasn't happened yet. Delay is not denial. God is orchestrating things in your favor, and when it all comes together, it will make sense why you had to wait. His plans are always worth the wait. Begin to celebrate now, even before the blessing shows up. Thank Him in advance for the breakthrough, for the healing, for the opportunity. That's faith. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I believe it's on the way. When you praise Him in advance, you're showing God that you trust Him, that you believe He's faithful, and that you know He's working all things for your good. I want you to get ready. Something big is about to happen. God's about to surprise you with His goodness. He's about to exceed your expectations. The dreams He's placed in your heart, the desires that seem out of reach, the situations that look impossible, He's going to bring them to pass. It's not going to be ordinary, it's going to be extraordinary. Stay in faith, keep believing, and watch how God surprises you very soon. God's timing is never early and never late. It is always perfect. While we may feel the pressure of deadlines, the weight of unmet expectations, or the urgency to see our prayers answered, God operates on a divine schedule. His timing takes into account things we cannot see and understands complexities we cannot comprehend. He knows when the circumstances are right, when the people involved are ready, and when you are fully prepared to receive what He has for you. It's natural to want things to happen quickly, especially when you've been waiting for a long time. But rushing the process often leads to frustration or receiving something before it's ready, or before you are ready. God's perfect timing ensures that what you receive will be a blessing, not a burden. It's like a seed planted in the soil. It needs the right conditions to grow. You can't rush the rain, the sunlight, or the seasons. In the same way, the blessings God has prepared for you will come at the exact moment they are meant to. If you prayed patiently and kept trusting God in the process, He will give you the answer. When we look back on life, we often realize that the timing of certain events was better than we could have planned ourselves. That delay you thought was a setback may have actually been a setup for something greater. The opportunities you missed weren't rejections, they were redirections toward something far better. God's timing isn't limited by our clocks or calendars. It's orchestrated for our ultimate good and His greater purpose. Learning to trust His timing means letting go of control and surrendering to the bigger picture. It means understanding that waiting isn't wasted time, it's part of the preparation. During the waiting period, God is working behind the scenes, aligning situations, opening doors, and strengthening you for what's ahead. What feels like a delay to us is often divine protection or preparation. Trust that He knows exactly when to move, and when He does, everything will fall into place effortlessly. God's timing is also a reminder that His plans for you are unique. You can't compare your journey to someone else's, because their path is not yours. While it may seem like others are moving ahead or achieving what you desire, remember that your moment is coming. God knows the desires of your heart, and He has set an appointed time for those dreams to come to life. His timing is tailored specifically to you, ensuring that when the blessing arrives, it will be exactly what you need. God's timing is a demonstration of His wisdom and love. He knows the beginning from the end, and He understands the intricacies of every situation in ways we never could. Sometimes what we think we need right now isn't what's best for us in the long run. God's timing protects us from prematurely stepping into situations that we're not ready for or that haven't fully developed. It's like a master craftsman working on a masterpiece. Each stroke, each detail is carefully considered to ensure the final result is perfect. When we're in the waiting season, it can feel frustrating or even discouraging. We might question why things are taking so long or wonder if God has forgotten us. But those seasons of waiting are often the times when God is doing His most significant work. He's not just preparing the blessing for you, He's preparing you for the blessing. He's strengthening your character, building your patience, and teaching you to trust Him more deeply. These moments of waiting are not wasted, they are purposeful. God's timing also ensures that the right people and opportunities intersect at the right moment. Sometimes the delay isn't about you, it's about the others who are part of the plan. He's working on their hearts, aligning their actions, and ensuring they're ready to play their role in your breakthrough. The connections, relationships, and resources you need are all part of His plan. And when the timing is right, everything will come together seamlessly. There's a peace that comes when you fully embrace God's timing. It allows you to let go of anxiety and rest in the assurance that He is in control. Even when the circumstances around you seem chaotic or uncertain, you can trust that He is weaving everything together perfectly. You may not understand it now, but when His timing is revealed, you'll look back and see how every moment had a purpose. What seemed like delays or detours were actually key parts of the journey, leading you exactly where you needed to be. God's timing is a reflection of His desire to give us His best, not just what we think we need. Often, we pray with urgency, hoping for immediate answers, but God sees beyond the present moment. He knows what's waiting around the corner and what's required to sustain the blessings He's preparing for us. Sometimes the waiting isn't about the destination, it's about shaping us into the people who can walk confidently into that blessing and handle it with wisdom and grace. There are times when we feel like we're ready, but God sees areas of growth we haven't yet recognized. He uses seasons of waiting to refine us, to draw us closer to Him, and to deepen our faith. These periods are opportunities to learn perseverance, gratitude, and trust. They are the moments where our dependence on Him grows, and we come to understand that His ways are higher than ours. God's timing is also strategic. He's aligning events, people, and circumstances in ways that are far beyond our comprehension. What looks like a delay to us might be a divine appointment waiting to happen. A closed door today could be protecting you from harm or disappointment tomorrow. That opportunity you're waiting for could be delayed because God is orchestrating an even greater opportunity that you can't see yet. His timing ensures that everything happens in harmony, creating a bigger and more beautiful picture than we could ever paint on our own. What makes God's timing so remarkable is how He often moves in ways that seem sudden, but they've actually been in the works all along. You may feel like nothing is happening, and then in an instant, everything changes. That breakthrough, that answered prayer, or that open door will come when you least expect it, but exactly when you need it. It's then that you'll realize how perfectly it all came together, and you'll see the fingerprints of God in every detail. God's timing teaches us the value of trust and surrender. It's in the waiting that we are reminded we're not in control, and that's okay, because the one who holds the universe also holds our future. His timing isn't just about delivering blessings. It's about deepening our relationship with Him. In those moments of delay, we learn to lean into His presence, to seek His guidance, and to find peace in His promises. Waiting becomes less about impatience and more about drawing closer to the one who knows what's best. Sometimes God's timing feels confusing because we're looking at our circumstances through a limited lens. We see only a piece of the puzzle, but God sees the whole picture. He knows what needs to happen for everything to align perfectly, not just for us, but for everyone involved. That promotion you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, or the opportunity that passed you by may feel disappointing now, but trust that God's no or not yet is often protecting you or positioning you for something greater. God's timing is also an invitation to grow in faith. When everything is immediate, we don't have to rely on faith. We can simply rely on what we see. But faith is built in the moments where we can't see the outcome, yet we choose to trust anyway. It's in these moments that our confidence in His promises is strengthened. Faith declares, even though I don't see it yet, I believe it's coming. Even though I don't understand it, I trust that God's plan is better than mine. And when His timing is revealed, it often comes with a sense of awe. What seemed impossible suddenly becomes reality. What looked like a closed door turns into an open pathway. You realize that God wasn't just meeting your needs, He was exceeding them. His timing is not just perfect, it's abundant, overflowing with blessings that remind you of His love, faithfulness, and power. So, God's timing is a reminder that life is not about instant gratification, but about purpose and preparation. In a world where we often want things now, God works differently. He sees beyond the surface and into the depths of what will truly fulfill us. When we rush ahead, we may settle for less than what He has planned. But when we trust His timing, we allow Him to deliver blessings that are not only good, but also perfect for us. The process of waiting on God's timing refines our hearts and minds. It teaches us patience, a virtue that strengthens our character and deepens our faith. It helps us develop resilience as we learn to navigate uncertainty and stand firm in the belief that God is in control. These lessons are not just for the waiting season. They become tools that prepare us for the next steps in our journey and for sustaining the blessings that are on the way. God's timing also teaches us to value the journey as much as the destination. While we may be focused on what's to come, He wants us to recognize the beauty and growth in the here and now. Each day holds opportunities to learn, to serve, and to grow closer to Him. Trusting His timing allows us to live with gratitude for the present while holding hope for the future. It's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about walking faithfully, step by step, knowing that God is guiding the way. In the moments when the wait feels long, remember that God is not just interested in your destination. He's interested in your transformation. He uses time to mold you into the person you're meant to be. That molding might involve challenges, but each one is a part of the process that prepares you for the blessings ahead. When the timing is right and His plan unfolds, you'll see how everything, even the waiting, was perfectly orchestrated for your good. God's timing often unfolds in ways that challenge our understanding, but it is always intentional. There are moments when we pray fervently, expecting immediate answers, only to be met with silence. In those times, it's easy to feel forgotten or question if things will ever change. But believe me, silence doesn't mean absence, and waiting doesn't mean abandonment. God's timing is not dictated by our desires. It is guided by His perfect knowledge of what is best for us and when. What seems like a delay is often a divine setup. God is not only working on your behalf, but also orchestrating things beyond what you can see. He's aligning circumstances, preparing opportunities, and ensuring the people and resources you need will arrive at the exact moment they're supposed to. A door that hasn't opened yet isn't closed forever. It's waiting for the right key, the right moment, and the right alignment of His plan for your life. In those waiting periods, God is also refining your faith. It's in these moments that you learn to trust Him, not because of what you see, but because of who He is. Faith grows strongest in the seasons when you can't see the outcome, but choose to believe in God's promises anyway. Trusting His timing means releasing your timeline and embracing His. It's surrendering the need for control and replacing it with confidence that His ways are higher, His plans are greater, and His love is steadfast. When the time finally comes, it often happens in ways you couldn't have predicted. Suddenly, the opportunity you've been praying for appears. The breakthrough you've been waiting for happens, or the situation you thought was impossible is transformed. God's timing brings not only answers, but also clarity. In hindsight, you'll see how every delay, every closed door, and every moment of waiting was a piece of a bigger puzzle, a puzzle that reveals His faithfulness and sovereignty over your life. God's timing is an invitation to rest in His promises, knowing that He is always faithful. While we often strive, plan, and worry about how things will unfold, God calls us to lay those burdens down and trust that He has already gone ahead of us. His timing assures us that we don't have to force things to happen. We simply need to be obedient, patient, and ready to receive what He has prepared. Your work waiting on God's timing doesn't mean doing nothing. It means aligning your actions with His purpose while trusting that the results are in His hands. It's about preparing your heart, sharpening your skills, and remaining faithful where you are, knowing that when the time is right, God will open doors no one can shut. His timing ensures that when those doors open, you'll be ready to step through them with confidence and grace. God's timing also protects us. Sometimes what we perceive as a delay is actually His way of shielding us from harm or disappointment. He sees what we cannot see and knows what lies ahead. That relationship that didn't work out, the job that didn't come through, or the opportunity that fell apart wasn't meant to harm you. It was meant to redirect you. What God withholds now is often His way of ensuring you receive something far better in the future. And when His timing is revealed, it often comes with a sense of awe and wonder. What once seemed impossible will fall into place effortlessly. What you thought was forgotten will come to life in ways beyond your imagination. God's timing is not just about meeting your needs. It's about exceeding them, blessing you in ways that remind you of His goodness and faithfulness. And furthermore, if you persevere with how God's timing is revealed, it often comes with a sense of awe and wonder. It's a divine reminder that He is always working for your good, even when you can't see it. As you walk through life, remember that God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels uncertain. Trust that He is working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your good and His glory. Consider the proverb, "The plowman went to the plain, went after the plowman, went after the plain, went after the plain." The delays, the detours, and even the disappointments are part of His divine plan to prepare you for something greater than you can imagine. So stay patient, stay faithful, and stay hopeful. When the time is right, God will surprise you with blessings that exceed your expectations, and you'll see that every moment of waiting was worth it. Keep believing, because your breakthrough's closer than you think.